My name is Marc Cleiren. I've been working for ages at Leiden University in the Netherlands, and I set up courses where I implemented also personal development and the knowledge about oneself. Actually, I've been studying psychology, and because I wanted to know what makes people tick, and I wanted to know why people make the choices they make in their lives. So I was really triggered by what makes it that a person can survive and can really live and even blossom after severe events. So I developed aspects around how people react personally to events, but also how they find their own anchor, their own reasons for existence, their own images of themselves and of their future. We developed more and more modules, or I developed modules in the first place, and then later on with more people. And it became a very popular course in psychology. What I designed in the meantime as well is a personal portfolio that you could take with you lifelong. You have all these different subjects in the university, and people go from one subject to another. It's like little chunks, and there's nothing that links these together for their whole study period. So I thought they should have this anchor, this thread through their own study life. Now we have a portfolio which is very sturdy and GDPR proof, which harbors all the self-reflections of people. And we started doing seminars with them, which they prepared also with knowledge before in their own portfolio. Then they had the seminar, which is heavily concentrated on meeting other people and meeting their fellow students with trainers, psychological trainers, who focus on purpose, on how do you go about making a commitment. And we offer them all kinds of tools in different seminars. And then at the end of each seminar, they uploaded the insights that they got during the seminar. So they develop a lifelong line of development, a view of their competences, also 360-degree feedback from others. And now we have more than 7,000 students from 3 different universities who have taken part in our trajectories, and it's still growing. So we have we have this thread, this anchor for themselves throughout their studies. And I'm really happy that this is being made possible at our university and also at different universities. What we do, because sometimes 400 people prepare this seminar beforehand, and we pose them a question like, okay, what is really bothering you at the moment, and what are you very enthusiastic about at the moment? People do this the day before they enter the seminar, and we could not do a lot with that before, but now, once GPT came into being, I designed prompts to have to analyze what all these people said. So 300, 400 people, what they're enthusiastic about. And it arranges them into themes and neatly gets them into, I put that into a graph. So your major theme that you're enthusiastic about is having drinks after your seminar, or you're worried about, most of you are worried about the exams, and you could get a top 10, and I can immediately present that at the same morning of the seminar. I can present it back to them, and they recognize themselves as a group in what they just said the day before. So, and that's making up a connection directly with far easier than when you start out of the blank. Another application we do is and that was only just implemented and we're still refining it, is that we use AI to help them look into their own portfolio, which may span a couple of years or 1 year. And we have AI looking at what they answered with, for instance, a couple of questions. What do you see analyzing my own reflections is most important to me? What do you see where I say I want to do this in the future, gouging this against my competence profile? Because they also fill out their own competences, and against the background of what my friends or mother, because they can get feedback from others, what they say about me. And where do you see disparity? Where do you see that I need to I could improve, or what I could do to come closer to my ideal whilst developing certain competences? And then the AI tells them where potential problems would be, or frustrations would be. And then what it can do as well is it can immediately look in the study guide, which is a live entity on the other hand, and or the agenda of workshops, or the agenda of things offered by the university, so they can get immediate advice on what would be fruitful to work on for them in a very personalized way, based on their own ideas. And the AI will also tell them, okay, I suggest this because you said last week, quote, unquote. So the person themselves can say, okay, this is indeed what fits. Or it says, well, this is not really what fits on that. In the end, they judge themselves, so you're not dependent on the AI hallucinating or saying the truth, but you are the final test of it. That helps them along the line to work on themselves, to be more satisfied with themselves. And the first results are really interesting. We always have a human in the loop. We make sure that they get this opportunity to query the AI just before they go into a seminar or an individual counseling session. They also know that the AI answer goes to their coach or their teacher on the one hand, and they receive it as well. So they can discuss it afterward, or the coach can also say, okay, what do you think of the opinion of the AI bot or the Learning My Way bot? We still need to tune into a bit more into the AI not overwhelming the student with advice. So we really want to keep it lean and mean, so that the person herself or himself can really think about it and integrate it, because we are very easily overloaded with information, and we think that I think that if we can really narrow it down and perhaps have some interaction also with the AI, or why are you saying that? What would you? Why do you specifically recommend this to me? That would help out, and also communicate with the coach. And that's interesting to also, in particular, since we're not very sure how adequate will it be, but we will research this at the same time. How does it work for the students? Does it help them to make choices? Does it help them to feel better? All kind of open questions that we're still very eager to learn about. We've come across all the difficulties, also on the governmental, the university governmental side, the security side. So we are very sure our system is GDPR compliant. It is built up privacy from the bottom up. It is very important that the board of the university decides not to make it a project, but to make it like a longitudinal investment. Because if you say, well, I'm going to open a lifelong learning system portfolio for you, and then, next year, no money anymore. Your life is very short in that case. And you don't want to do that to your students. So you need a commitment of governance to have, although it may be a small support, try it out, and at least for the duration of the entire studies, the bachelor's and the master's, you make them have access to this portfolio and invite them or do certain interventions with it. In our portfolio now, we can also harbor interventions from career service, from student support, from all different sides that help the students to actually to have very different interventions in their lives. They can make a short note of it, and they can see on their own timeline what has happened over time and where they grew and where they have new insights. So to look back at this, and you can also feed forward earlier insights. Last year you said you really wanted to commit yourself to playing volleyball. And then, Okay, next year we say to the student, last year you committed to playing volleyball. How is it today? And so you can, or you can, for instance, we help them discover their talent and to give it a name. And then a month later we can ask them, how has it been with your talent? Have you seen any instances where you could bring it to blossom? Okay, and they can reflect on this. And do you have any intentions of doing this? Pick a situation where you could show it to others. So you can really keep on the ball close to where they are by using it in your portfolio. And of course it needs knowledgeable trainers or knowledgeable accompaniment of teachers. This topic of mental health is actually ingrained within the program, because we say everybody's got a talent, but everybody also has got their own dragons, their own problems. So, and people experience that they're not unique in that, and that's a very big support. And the fact that we have coaches that are knowledgeable about mental health problems, they are psychologists, training psychologists, but they can refer. So they can have individual talks with people if they say, oh, there's something the matter there, and they can refer them to different places. Also, student support is there as well. So if people have, for instance, problems integrating or have problems because diversity is not respected in some areas, then they can be helped by diversity officers. And what the good thing about this system is that we have people on the ball. They see you. So in most instances, in big universities, they are more or less invisible to the staff. If you have a big group and you teach them and they do this exam, and then they're out of your view again. So we are like a lifeline to some. In one of the programs we have, which is now for the entire social faculty, like 2,000 students each year, in each study year. They have one seminar introducing what we do, and then they get the opportunity to choose from very different modules what would fit them. If they do 6 modules in all, they get a certificate which will be handed out to them, a personal professional skills certificate, which will be handed out at together with their bachelor diploma. It can also be done as a separate certificate course, which is now getting very popular. We have 66% of the students participating voluntarily in our trajectory who are very interested in getting this certificate, because it is well known that flexibility, being able to sustain yourself, to know what you want, to have a vision of your own future, your own talent, is really valued most in society nowadays. And all the big businesses say, well, we need people who do that, who have at least that. We don't know exactly what we will need in 3 years' time because of AI and because of all the developments. But we need at least people who are robust to change, dealing with change. And that's what we offer.